Hey guys, what's up? We're working with an image from your passage, so as always I'll be putting their links down in the description, so if you like their content, like their work, you can go give them a follow down there. So coming down you can see they got those really nice teal blues, those really nice warm tones, and then quite a bit of fade in those whites and blacks. So we're going to be working with this shot right here, trying to recreate those tones, and yeah. Links in the description. Let's get into it, see if we can create something pretty awesome like this. The raw unedited photo and the edited one from their Instagram. So the first thing I notice over in this one is that they have a very shallow depth of field, and there's a lot of depth of field in this one. So we can actually do that in post to an extent. So let's grab a filter, a radial filter, put it over our subjects. About that big, and then just drop the sharpness all the way down, and as you can see we got that shallow depth field now, and we'll just bring up the feathering all the way so it just nicely feathers into the center of the image. That way it's not real noticeable. And then if we click this, you can see where it's affecting and where it's not. We want to brush away some bits. So if you come up here to brush, not this bit, but this bit here, and you click erase, you can now erase this effect even outside of the circle. So if I brush here, it's going to start erasing around there. So we want our subjects in focus. Okay, so if you flick this back on, we want to get a bit around them in focus, because it's unlikely that, well, it's not natural looking that this is also out of focus, so we'll brush away that as well. And this bag here, as you can see, it's got quite a bit of sharpness to it. Okay, that looks good. You can see it's just not affecting it as strong down there. It still looks red there. It's because we've got this really feathered out, but we've brushed away a lot of that non-sharpening down there. Okay, let's go up to contrast. We might lift the contrast just a bit. Let's lift the shadows a lot, but then bring down the blacks, because we want to give off a really warm, pretty vibrant look. So we want to bring up the shadows, just makes everything look much nicer and brighter. Then we'll bring down the blacks a lot, because you got to keep some contrast, otherwise it looks a little strange. But now I've probably added in too much contrast at the moment, but I'm going to add in a strong fade, because as you can see we've got a real flat faded look to the image. And I'm going to take out a lot of this contrast when I put a fade into these blacks. So I put a bit of an extra amount of blacks in there, so then I can lift up the fade here and it still looks okay. Okay, so in the curve, I just flattened everything out. So I brought up the black point, brought down the white point a bit. And if we just turn that on and off, you can see the real flatness it puts in there. You might see it better when we add in the colors. But you can see that's, yeah, really flattening out the whites and blacks. So there's a bit of crispness to this image, even though it's very soft. So I'm going to put quite a bit of contrast in, clarity in. And then let's take out quite a bit of saturations, and we'll add some back in the HSL. But before we do HSL, we'll do some split toning. And this definitely has warm colors and the highlights and shadows. So let's start with the highlights. Choose a nice orange, red. And the shadows will do about the same, but more of a yellow maybe. And you can see that's given the color, given the image a lot of its color. Those warm tones. Right, let's mess around with some HSL. So since we've got a lot of greens, we'll start with the greens. And they're looking too green in our image, so let's warm them up. Now let's desaturate them. Oranges need to come up. And a big part of this is getting the right skin tones. I think these reds, they're very on the orange side. Oranges look about right. About there. So we've got some teals. So if you look up at the sky, it looks a little purple. This water looks a little blue. So we'll just go a little more teal. Whoa. So to get these real deep skin tones, you got to drop the luminance of the oranges. You might think he doesn't look saturated enough, but that's what saturation does. But if you lower the luminance, you can see it just looks way more natural. Looks way better. So let's do that. Gonna do that with the reds as well. And our image is lacking a bit of punch. So let's bring up the yellows. You can see all the bright areas, all the pretty much all the highlights pop a bit more. We'll do that with our greens as well. Giving it a much more summery feel. And we'll just brighten the aqua. We'll take down the reds. There's not a lot in there. Take them down. Yellows. So if you look in areas, they're about right. Might take them down a tad. Aqua, I think we could do some more saturation for that pool. It's before, after. And then I'll just take, there's not many purples in here, but we'll take them down just so it kind of goes with everything else, in case there was purple in the image for some reason. And pretty good. We'll do some grain, because it definitely has quite a bit of grain. Okay, I think we're looking pretty good. We'll just check some settings up here. Maybe some whites can come up. Just because we're just lacking a little bit of a punch at the moment. And I feel like whites might give us a little bit of that. And let's move on to some brushing or filters. So let's start with a filter down here. We just want to brighten all these shadows. And when you increase the exposure of an area, it's a really good idea to bring down the blacks, just because otherwise you lose that contrast. So it just looks kind of flat and weird. So keep an eye out for that. And we want to, the only way I can see you can darken the sky, I don't think, you can't really do it with luminance or anything. So I'm guessing they have done a filter. Drop the exposure. looking pretty good. We'll leave sharpness down just because it's such a soft image. And yeah, they've kept this image is a bit softer because it's a screenshot off Instagram, but I think you could do another one over top of them. And drop the clarity. Just helps skin look more smooth, and yeah, and just I might want to touch up this a bit. So this other one, so the one with minus 100 sharpness, giving us that depth of field, shallow depth of field. Might just go to the brush again, erase. Gonna make my brush smaller, and I just want to erase. So you can erase stuff. I'll go back. No, I want to. No, that's right. Just erase what you don't want blurred. We did it before, but I might just go over it a bit again. And then you can add as well. So if you wanted to add, you would brush in. Got it on erase at the moment, but you could brush in what you want. So if you want extra depth of field in some areas, so brush, and now we'll be brushing in that reduction and sharpening. Okay, so they have definitely brightened this dark bit down here in the water, so might grab another brush. Let's go with exposure. You'd have to take your time. I'll just do it quickly. Leave it about there maybe. And then, yeah, they might have done some retouching, but I think that's pretty close. They might have even really dropped the clarity on the... Actually, we want this to affect the inside of the circle. So we actually got it wrong and it's affecting the outside. So we want to invert this to affect the subjects, not the outside. So this is where it's affecting. Before it was like that. We want it inside to keep our subjects nice and soft. And yeah, you could also use this to, maybe you want a little more highlights. Get rid of that. A little more highlights, less highlights. But I think that looks pretty close. I think they've done some extra shot softening. But I think I might just leave it there. Maybe maybe a touch less luminance. Or a bit more saturation. I think you guys get the point. So these are before and after. And yeah, I think I'll just leave it there, guys. And yeah, I'll be putting all their links down in the description, so go down there, give them a follow if you like their work. Give myself a follow down there as well. Let me know what you thought, who you guys want to see, because if you comment their names, I'll go reach out to them on Instagram, ask them to send in a photo, and hopefully do a tutorial on them. Just darken this a bit. And I will probably be leaving it there. Catch you in the next one, guys. Cheers.